here we go. So, thanks for joining us again. So, here's another recap just to sum up the week. My name is Ben from Benjamin P Trading, and we've got the trading captain here. I'm introducing him for you. Already
Thank you for
messed that
introducing me
intro up.
for me. That's right. I appreciate it.
But yeah, so we're gonna quickly run out through our stats for the week. I know the captain's had a good week. I've had an okay week as well. My stats are looking much better than last week. So I'll quickly share my screen so that we are off and away with it, so we see what's happening. All right, can you see my screen okay on your
Yep, I'm
end?
good to go.
All right, brilliant. So first week of December, really exciting. I mean, a lot more activity than last couple of weeks of October. I know you've been a bit more active than I have. I suppose we have different styles of trading. So I've got 3 green days and 2 no trade days this week. Today was sort of Friday was a more of a family commitment. I couldn't really take any trades, but that's what it looks like for the week. Let me just see if I can slightly zoom out just so you can see the entire week. So ending the week on $9.74. Of course, I'm only trading with maximum share size of 20. But let's dig a bit deeper into the stats themselves, because that's what's actually more interesting for me right now rather than the P&L. So obviously I'm sitting at $9.74 in the green. I am up. I've got an accuracy of 72%. So I've taken 18 trades. Out of those 18 trades, 13 of them are green. My average winning trade, only 85 cents. My average losing trade is 45 cents. Again, we're talking very small numbers, but this is
That's really
obviously all
good.
building
Yeah.
blocks.
Having
Exactly.
such high
Uh,
accuracy with such good profit loss, that's very good.
So I did a quick calculation. It works out to be about 1.8 or 1.9 to 1. So for every dollar that I would risk, technically, I'm making $1.89 in essence, if you were to scale this up. And my largest gain was $3, and my largest loss was $1. So I think I'm really pleased with that. But yeah, I'm not going to go dig any more deeper. I think those are the few main stats that are quite important. But I'll suppose I'll hand over to you. If I can stop sharing my screen, there we go. And then yeah,
Yeah,
see how you did.
honestly, really impressive. Like, even though you didn't trade that much, just seeing those kind of returns, that was actually a really solid result. I'm impressed. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think the focus should be on the stats. I mean, that's been my probably biggest mistake when I started. I
Hmm.
focused on the money. It's very
Well, I
tempting,
mean,
right?
the
Because
money is always the end goal. The money doesn't ever not be the goal, but
yeah,
it is never the primary goal.
yeah, absolutely. So seeing these sort of stats has been quite pleasing for me anyway. It just feels like progress.
All right, let me know if you can see this.
Yeah, it's nice and clear.
All right, so really good results from this week. Every day was green overall, and you can see the total profit for the week was 94 bucks. After commissions a bit lower, it's 72. But just the overall trend this week was very similar. We were seeing very, very aggressive short pressure, and this forced me to really have to take a conservative approach where you can see even from the scatter plot here, I didn't really have any major wins like breakout $20 winners or anything. Most of them were just very minor $5 wins, and a lot of them. You can see the losers. I didn't have that many losers, right? My accuracy is very high. My win rate's very high. And this is really what's been working in this kind of market. Now, I'm hoping that we can see it heat up so that I can shift this mindset because really, I mean, besides it being boring sometimes, it's just having an occasional $5 winner here or there doesn't really feel that impactful. Now, I mean, in a week, 94 bucks is 94 bucks, but just having this very slow grind, it's not really the way to get the very big winners, because I've had weeks in the past where I would have a trade and I would make 100 bucks on a trade. But just to compare that and say, okay, you're maybe at most making 15 bucks on a trade. This market's very different. And by the way, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I'm making the wrong decision either, because I don't know, because you took 2 days off. Maybe you can give me your thoughts. But I felt that anything I touched, if I did not take profit quickly, it would roll over. That was the real message I got from this week.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching you. Sorry, did you stop sharing? By the way?
Yeah, I stopped sharing.
I was going to point something out, but we can come back to it, I suppose. Uh, but sorry, what I was trying to say is that yeah, I feel like on the days where you were holding out for profit, and you were already in profit anyway, right? And I can see that you're up like 20 cents, and you were also sometimes hitting that 30, 40 cents mark, but then it quickly would flush back down.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like you were holding a lot longer than I would, and I would sometimes sit there. I'm like, oh God, he holds for a few minutes. But
No,
I'm sort of
and
into
some
like
of it
10,
was
20 seconds.
exposure therapy too, because I was really trying to test, and a lot of I mentioned this a couple times in the streams, but a lot of it was me pinging the market to see, okay, let me hold this one a little bit longer. Let's see how this one acts. And I'll be honest, I felt like I was getting whipped. Like anytime I was giving it leeway, it was punishing me. I really felt like I was getting punished for trying to greed, essentially.
Do you mind sharing your screen again? I just saw something interesting on your stats, so I
Yeah,
would
give me
quickly
one
point
sec.
out because your profit and loss ratio seemed quite similar to mine, which is quite interesting. So you're sitting at what, 1.9 to 1, is that right?
Yeah, 1.9 to 1. 21 winners,
you had-
11 losers.
And then what's your, sorry, just confirm, what was your P&L for the week?
P&L for the week was $94.
Nice, sweet. And then I think what we were talking about earlier was your average gain per share. Where did we see that?
Average over here is $6 per share.
Six.
Or
Nice.
or
So
$6 per trade.
so
Sorry,
that's
not
a
share.
nice- And then you were keeping, and I think you were sort of trading with quarter size. Did you ever go full size on the first trade, or do you always scale in? I think you always scale in. Is that right?
So right now it is a scaling. In a hot market, I will. So right now, like 100 shares is the baseline, right? In a hot market, I will enter with 100 and I will double to 200 on conviction.
Okay.
Now, you can see how, like, the fact that you think that that's how I normally trade with quarter size shows how conservative I've been in this market. And that's part of why I'm having these small returns, because the only way you're going to get $100 return with the 200 share trade is if you're really trading aggressive, you're holding a long time. And yeah, I'm in a state right now where I'm taking quarter size. I've tried averaging in a couple times, and
Yeah.
it's really difficult. It's been punishing me. But yeah, I'm doing 100 shares. I'm doing half size sometimes, doing quarter size. There were actually a couple times where I was even doing eighth size because I was really testing a micro pullback or something with higher risk. Notably, my accuracy for micro pullbacks this week was horrendous. I would say my failure rate was probably around 85%. It was really bad. I was just not getting the micro pullbacks.
Just to confirm, because when I watch you trade and some of the trades that you take, it seems like you're aiming for the bounce. I would sometimes class those as the backside of the move, but whereas you've got the conviction that okay, this is going to bottom out and it's going to give us a bounce. So when you say micro pullback, is that on the front side where we've got
Front side.
like a bull,
Front
clear
side.
bull flag? Okay, and then you're looking for that micro pullback, like, and then another leg up basically to make.
Yeah, I think the only time a micro pullback can even be remotely safe is on the front side. Yeah, trading a micro pullback on the backside is just death. Yeah.
Do you think when you've been buying, because we trade so differently, and this is interesting because I'm learning stuff from watching you, of course, and it's picking stuff up, just a style of trading, right? And I can see where you're going in and you're trying to get into the dip, and you're trying to sort of not anticipate the sort of the bounce, but you're sort of watching a level 2 and you're seeing how it behaves. I'm just wondering, is that a new thing, or is that how you've been trading all the time?
It's how I've been trading this whole time.
Okay.
Now, I will say you are seeing an imbalance right now. I will say in a hot market, I will lean towards the front side of the move more. In a colder market, you'll see me lean towards the back. And right now, if I'm being honest, it's probably maybe 75% of the time I'm trading the backside. And the reality is just because stocks are rolling over so hard and so quickly, I feel like trading the front side carries much higher risk. And the only way you can really get rewarded for trading that way is if you find the stocks that are moving 100% plus. That's the only way that you can safely be profitable. And yeah, it's difficult to do that. Like you need to be extremely well tuned to be able to sniff out those kind of stocks and then pound. Not only do you need to find them, but then you got to aggressively hammer them when you find them. And that's a very, very difficult skill to do. I mean, Ross does it. And it's something I find it's very easy to do it in a hot market. It's very difficult to do it in a cold market.
My other question is, again, going back to your style of trading that you've been sort of showing on your stream, you buy the bounce. What are we saying? What is the reason we get that bounce? Is it shorts covering and then because they're taking profit and then we get in that sort of buyback and then it's sort of, obviously it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that if shorts are covering, then it will just move back up. Is that what's happening, do you reckon? Or is it market makers stepping in and then sort of now buying the liquidity flush or whatever you
Well, it's both, right? It's both. If you see an overextension, and I'm really looking at the volume, that is very, very critical. If you see an overreaction on disproportionate volume, that's a buy signal, and vice versa. And I mentioned this several times on the stream. If I see selling pressure with high volume, that I need to not touch, because that tells me distribution, that tells me massive sell orders, maybe massive short orders, you don't know. Could be dilution that just hasn't been reported as news yet. But yeah, I make it as a rule that if I'm going to be buying the backside, it needs to be on low volume. Typically. There are exceptions, but that's like the general rule.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I mean, this week for me, it's been that one day on Tuesday, I had a quite exciting day, I think, where I feel like I really connected. I can't remember which one, what stock it was now, but it really felt like I was able to connect and I was able to really ride the momentum and buying the pullbacks, and you could just see like a really clean 1 minute pullbacks, and it gave us some really good moves. It was on PLRZ. I think you did trade it, but I did watch you stayed out of the front side of it because I guess you just didn't feel enough conviction.
Correct. Yeah, and that's actually what made me switch for Wednesday and Thursday and today was I saw that I missed that because I wasn't willing to engage with the front side. And so I'm like, that's kind of like the mindset the day to day where I saw that and I said, okay, I missed this. I need to try exposure therapy. So that's why you see the 1/8 size, the 1/4 size on some of these front sides, because that's me trying to get exposure, even though I've seen them roll over. And it's been mixed results. Like today, the front side exposure didn't really do anything. It was basically flat. I had a $13 loss on WHLR. I was up like 26, 27 bucks at one point. So that was a bit rough.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people got caught on the WHLR today.
I think Ross lost money on it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did he?
I think he did, like 2,000.
Yeah, it's definitely a household name, WHLR.
I was saying that too. It has been on the trading block for years. Yeah.
I think early in the year or early last year, they released news and it makes some big moves, and because I guess there was more conviction on the long bias side of things, but whereas now,
well, it's just a stock that reverse splits over and over. I mean, it goes to, there's been points where it's only had 300,000 shares outstanding. Like it's been extremely, I mean, you look at the 1 or 2 year history of it, it's a death spiral stock. So that's to be expected. Yeah, same thing with things like SPRC, I think is one. ADTX, which came up today, that was one. But yeah, there's a couple names. SMX is one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so, SMX, geez.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That definitely caused a lot of pain to a lot of people, I'm sure.
No, that was actually part of my thesis too. So my thesis was that shorts are overly greedy. They've been like exceptionally greedy this week.
Hmm.
And when I saw that SMX was getting squeezed to oblivion, and I mean it's insane. It went to 500 today. Like that's insane to
Wow.
me. And it's still holding decently. It's like around 300 last I checked it. So seeing that pressure, that really made me feel that today I'd be able to put more pressure. Like I took 8 trades today, still relatively conservative in the grand scheme of things, but I
Yeah.
was willing to pressure more, and that pressure
Yeah.
just didn't get rewarded. We didn't see. I think it was there was very few movers. There was only like 4 or 5 movers today, and of those movers, 4 of them didn't have news, which is
Hmm.
very unusual. That's and they were
Yeah.
all low micro floats. Like they were only 500,000 share stocks, which is I was like, huh, it's interesting. It's similar to SMX.
So it sort of sounds like
Mm.
I didn't miss much because being very strict with my trading right now. I'm only going for things that have got a catalyst. I acknowledge that there's going to be movers, stocks going to move with continuations, and there'll be just hype, right? There'll just be general hype in small caps at times. But I'm
Mhm.
sticking to everything. I'm trying to filter things so that it's A quality setups as much as I can to just so I can look back at my stats and be able to pick out anomalies that are causing me not to be profitable. And by focusing on A quality setups, I'm just limiting that data set and narrowing it down and trying to pinpoint all the little things that are sort of holding me back. So, for example, if those stocks were moving today, I would have not traded them because if they didn't have catalyst, a fresh catalyst anyway, as of the morning, then I would have stayed away from them.
I have one
But
thing, if I could show you real quick. This is kind of off the
sure, yeah,
fly, but I want to pull up my results from today because you were talking about quality of setups, and I think that I can show something that might be of value here. So give me 1 sec just to get it set up.
I suppose it would be good to clarify what we mean by quality of setup, right? Because when I'm talking about quality, I suppose what I mean is the quality of the stock I'm trading. So, for example, a quality would be that it has a low float, a fresh catalyst, and it's a maybe biotech, or it has a recent reverse split, and it's got I don't know more than 5 to 10 times more than average
Relative
daily
volume,
volume,
yeah.
relative volume. That's it. So those sort of things. But yeah, do you want to explain a bit more about what you mean by?
We both are part of Ross, so we both are on the same boat there.
Yeah,
Yeah, low float, high relative volume, high float rotation, catalyst, high volume in general. So these are all things I'm looking for, but also just the setup quality. How well did the setup look? How well did the setup execute? Was there any red flags like a hidden seller? These are all things that go into the rating. And you were talking about raising quality threshold. So right now
hmm,
you can see like this. These are all the quality ratings I give.
yeah,
I give a rating after each trade,
hmm,
and I try to keep it in a cold market to B minimum. So it's got to be at least B quality for me to take it. And this is something I just want to like kind of touch on because you're in a mindset right now of just trying to really stricken criteria, which is fine for a cold market, but and this is what's difficult is when we go to a hot market.
hmm,
What I try to do is I actually try to lax those criteria, and I say, okay,
yeah,
anything that's a C quality or better, I will take. And
hmm,
this is like really key for a hot market because hot markets, even garbage can move. So I just wanted
yeah,
to throw that out there because I feel like that's relevant to keep in mind in the event we do actually see the market heat up.
yeah. So let me explain why I started doing that is because um, what I was struggling with was over trading.
Mm-hmm.
And because I started in a hot market and we had just stocks moving all the time, what I would find is that, well, when I look back at my stats and just looked up back at my notes, I realized that I was getting burnt early on in the morning and not waiting for things that have got fresh catalysts. And those were typically the ones that gave us the big move and solid moves. And I would get chopped up or on stocks that have just move in, they've got volume because I don't know, because traders are jumping on them. It was a hot market,
Mm-hmm.
and I would find it difficult to get my accuracy high because the moves were not as predictable, because the focus was not necessarily all on that one or two stocks that were popping up in the morning. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. In a hot market, you need to then perhaps relax in these rules so that you can take advantage of it. And then when it comes cold, you batten down the hatches, and you just sort of sit back and not try
Yeah, I mean,
preserve capital.
the fact that I've gone from earlier in like August where I was having some trades give $50 returns per trade. So like it would be like a $50 win, $40 loss, and like it would add up to maybe $100 on the day. But going from like $50 swings per trade to $5 swings per trade, it just really shows how much I've had to tighten criteria, right? I've reduced share size, I've reduced exposure time, I've reduced sizing in, because sometimes I would add to positions and I haven't been doing that as much. So yeah, it is really a night and day difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any predictions for next week before we wrap this up? What are your thoughts? What are your plans for next week? Game plan?
Game plan, it's mostly to see how SMX plays out. I feel that as SMX has squeezed, shorts are basically dead. Like they have been. Make no mistake, this wasn't just a bull run on SMX. This was absolutely liquidation city for short sellers on SMX. And I am anticipating next week at some point, probably early next week, we are going to see stocks start to hold better. Because the retention rate, this is something I've started tracking the last week and a half. I haven't really put out my analysis yet, but I did like maybe 8 hours of research into something. I have a suspicion as to why the market's been so cold the last week and a half, why rollover's been high, but I want to research more before I put that out. But I have a suspicion that if I'm right, that once the SMX move is done, we're going to see stocks holding better. We're going to see 50% movers every day, maybe like 3 of them. I have a feeling we're going to shift back to warm very, very soon. I would put it above 50% chance.
That'll be really interesting. Yeah, that'll be solid. But yeah, I think I'll continue with the same approach as I have been this week. Just sort of wait for the same sort of solid, fresh catalyst. Going with quarter share size, maybe add to a position if it's moving. But yeah, I think I'm just going to play it conservatively until I've got maybe another month or so of consistency under my belt before I can actually increase share size. And it may mean that I might miss some hot weeks and not be able to fully capitalize on that. But again, the focus here isn't
It's survival.
P&L.
It's survival.
Exactly. It's about learning, and it's about giving myself as much exposure and being able to manage those emotions and so on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it was good talking with you. We'll have to do it again
Yeah.
soon.
Absolutely.